Hi, I'm Curtis Winters with Improv Pathways. Now, if you're like me, when I was young and trying to learn how to improvise, the chord changes were really confusing. And I learned all about how to play the right scale and how to play the right arpeggio with each chord. I learned to do that over some time. But it still didn't help me to improvise or to sound like I was playing a good solo over the chord changes. But most jazz method books kind of leave you there. They kind of give you the scale, maybe the arpeggio, and that's it. You're not going to play a good solo just using the scale. So my goal with Improv Pathways was to make it easy and help it to make sense to play a good solo over chord changes. Now it is just a beginning jazz improvisation method. It only uses 3 chords, but you're going to become amazing at soloing and improvising with those 3 chords. Now first we start with just a single chord, and we call it the 1 chord because it's like the home base. It's the main place where you're going to hang out. But then we introduce the 2nd chord, which is called the 4 chord. And of course we show you the scale, we show you the arpeggio. Then we're going to give you some really cool patterns or licks with the 2nd chord, with the 4 chord. And then I give you some patterns using both the 1 chord and the 4 chord. If you've heard of 2-5-1 patterns, this is the same kind of thing, except it's going to be 1-4 patterns. So the 1-4 patterns help you learn to play melodically between the 1st chord and the 2nd chord, so you're not just going from the root of 1 chord to the root of the other chord. You don't want to sound like this. You want to sound more like this. So next we introduce the 5 chord. Then you get to learn and practice jazz patterns that go from 1 to 5. And then you practice patterns going from 4 to 5. And then you practice patterns going from 5 to 4. So you're going to get the scales and arpeggios for all 3 chords, but you're also going to get lots of licks and jazz patterns using those 3 chords. And most importantly, you're going to practice patterns that go from 1 chord to the next chord. Now another thing in Improv Pathways to help you play over chord changes is the group improv exercises. Here's an example of the group improv exercise using the 1 chord and the 4 chord. These exercises let you improvise in small groups using different sets of notes. For example, you might use the bass line as the basis for improvising. Or you can use riff 1 or riff 2. Now another thing the Improv Pathways has to help you improvise over chord changes is it has lots of different solos for you to transcribe. So you can listen to and transcribe great solos, great improvised solos from great jazz players over the same chords that you're studying. Here's an alto sax solo using the 1 chord and the 4 chord. And here's a great piano solo using the 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord. I was so frustrated when I was young, so frustrated trying to figure out how to play a good solo. I knew all the scales, I knew all the chords that were in the song, but I couldn't play a good solo. And so my Improv Pathways method book makes it easy, gives you every single thing you need to make sense of each chord and to help you play a great solo connecting the chords. I'm Curtis Winters. Happy improvising.